Well, I really wanna know, yeah, 'cause there's a place so amazing with all the things I really wanna know, yeah. I've been driving all night, looking for the right turn to make all the change you make. Just hold on tight and I'll take you to the place to be, Do you know what today is? It's our hidden history. Our hidden history. Do you know what today is? Our hidden history. Tell me deep, don't you? Time running, it's amazing. All the things you can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, 'cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing, so amazing. I flip the page, I see you written down again and again. I'm humble and I'm hawking it, that if you will today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, follow me, yeah, follow me. To the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Friday, yeah, to the Saturday. Then we go and keep it holy, we make it to the next day. Do you know what today is? It's our hidden history. You can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, 'cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing, so amazing. I flip the page, I see you written down again and again. I'm humble and I'm hawking it, that if you will today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, follow me, yeah, follow me, yeah, to the Saturday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Friday, yeah, to the Saturday. Then we go and keep it holy, we make it to the next day. Do you know what today is? It's our hidden history. it's amazing. All the things you can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. I flip the page, I see you written down again and again. I'm humble and I'm hearkening, that if you will today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, follow me, yeah. Follow me, yeah, to the Sabbath, yeah. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, follow me, yeah, to the Sabbath day. Then we go and keep it holy with me until the next day. Do you know what today is? It's our hidden history. You can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. I flip the page, I see you written down again and again. I'm humble and I'm hearkening, that if you
Shalom, shalom. Welcome back to another episode of Our Hidden History. You are now tuned into Our Hidden History Radio Show. All right. Let's get into it. Last week, we dealt with the martyrdom. We just went into a couple of brothers that were martyred, and so forth, and how they were martyred, and how Esau, the Roman Empire at that time, how they was putting us to death and how they treated us. Remember, we under the Emperor Nero right now. We are dealing with the sixth feather. So with Nero, remember how he, with the fire, how he accused us or whatever with the fire. And then it already put us, we already had a bad light as followers of Christ at that time. But when the fire happened, he blamed it on us because they already hated us. So after that gave us more notoriety. Because remember, one of the books that we went over said that it was like 30 years that we went unnoticed. We was under the radar for 30 years, right? After Christ, under the radar. But once the fire happened, then that put us in that light. And then they started setting laws and regulations. Hey, get the page where they said we was an empire within an empire. You know what I'm talking about? Empire within the empire. Now, I'm just recapping. What we're going to, this show right here, we're going to deal with what was going on, what led up to the event, what led up to 70 AD, what led up to it. All right? and you will see is nothing but niggerdom that was going on in the land. All right. Empire within an empire. No, that's a page. Not. It's not on Telegram. It's a page. Yep. Let me see. Blow it up. Go to the next one. Next page. Come on, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going. Hey, this is the book, History, Early Rome. History of the Christians in Early Rome. Yeah, that's the book I want. Yep. Now, this book from the early 1900s, all right? Come on, come on, come on. Keep going, keep going. Right there, read that. There it is.
For the first time, the imperial government saw with whom they had to do.
Mm-hmm.
It was the settled policy of Rome steadily to repress and to stamp out all organizations.
So I just wanted to go back into this page to put, refresh. Remember, these things happen in ancient Rome. They're happening all over again today. All right, read it again.
For the first time, the imperial government saw with whom they had to do.
So for the first time, the imperial government saw with whom they had to do, with whom they had to deal with whom they had to focus on. Go ahead.
It was the settled policy of Rome steadily to repress and to stamp out all organizations.
So Rome didn't play around with organizations. If you wasn't for Rome, they was going to stamp you out. So they didn't play around with any organizations. Go ahead.
All self-governing communities.
Any community that was self-governing, that tried to plan any seditions, or any treasons or anything against the government, okay, they stamped them out. Read on.
Or clubs.
Or any clubs. Read.
As highly dangerous to the spirit of imperial policy.
So they viewed these different clubs, organizations, and so forth as a highly dangerous spirit to the imperial policy. Go ahead.
And as the result of the trials and inquiries which followed the fire of Rome,
back in 64, 65 AD, go ahead.
It found in the Christian community a living embodiment of this tendency which hitherto Rome has succeeded in crushing.
Read.
Found that in their midst.
So Rome found in their midst, right at home, because remember, Rome was going into remember they had their foreign policies going on around in the 50s AD. They had their foreign policy. They was in Gaul, they was in Spain. They went to Africa. We brought that out. So now they had to focus right back home. Like, yo, we got to deal with this issue right here at our doorstep. Go ahead.
Found that in their midst, in the capital and in the provinces, an extra imperial unity.
And what?
Extra imperial unity.
So they said it was an extra imperial unity forming. An army was forming. Go ahead.
Was fast.
Just like today, read.
Was fast growing up.
And it was fast growing up to the point they couldn't even stop it. It was growing. It was growing and growing. Go ahead.
An empire within the empire.
They seen that they called us, the followers of Christ, an empire within an empire. That's what was happening. Remember, the Lord said, I will set them in order before thine eyes. Give me that. Give me that. What's that? Psalms, right?
Yes, sir.
Psalm 50.
Mm-hmm. The book of Psalms, chapter 50 and verse 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence.
Mm-hmm.
Thou thoughtest...
So this is talking about Esau. So the Lord said, these things hast thou done, and he kept silence. Things like what? The rape, the rob, the pillage, the murder of our people. Okay? So go ahead.
Thou thoughtest that I was
the lynchings. Okay, what's happening to our people even now, up to today with the Rasheem Carters. Give me some names.
Ahmaud Arbery.
Ahmaud Arbery. You got the Michael Browns. You got
John.
Who?
Botham John.
Botham John. All these lynchings and so forth that's happening to our people even today. Read that part again.
These things hast thou done, and I kept silence.
Mm-hmm.
Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself.
Right, because Esau think the Lord is going to be on their side for the things that they're doing to us. They said the Lord is on our side. We doing God's work right now. Go ahead.
But I will reprove thee.
But what?
But I will reprove thee.
The Lord said he will reprove them. Read.
And set them in order before thine eyes.
And that's what's happening. Like, that's what happened back then. Same thing is happening right now as we speak. The Lord is setting us in order right before the enemy's eyes, man. Okay? All right, so that same thing was, go back to the page.
You want to read the whole thing?
Just the bottom. Start from it found in the Christian. You can start there.
It found in the Christian community a living embodiment of this tendency which hitherto Rome has succeeded in crushing. Found that in their midst, in the capital and in the provinces, an extra imperial unity was fast growing up. An empire within the empire.
So as Rome is going throughout their foreign policy, they going to war with the different nations, which was us, over in different lands up in Spain and so forth, Britain, Gaul, all right? So as Rome is out going to war back home, they was like, yo, we need to deal with the issue back home. There's an empire that's growing within our empire that we got to deal with. And they're forming a fast-growing unity. Same thing happening. It's going to happen all over again. All right? You see what's happening over in the so-called Middle East. Guess what? They're going to turn their faces back home towards us. All right? And that's when the persecution is going to start. Same thing happened back then, likewise today. All right? Remember, history repeats itself. History repeats itself. All right? Nothing new under the sun. All right, so now, from there. Now, we're going to get into what led up to 70 A.D. So there's different events, different events that was taking place as 70 A.D. was approaching, okay? So we're going to get into the different sects that was out at that time in Judea, all right? So give me the Wikipedia. Give me the Zealots. The Zealots. The Zealots. Read that.
The Zealots were a political movement in 1st century Second Temple Judaism, which sought to incite the people of Judea province to rebel against the Roman Empire.
So the Zealots hated Rome. They hated Rome. And what their main goal was to incite all of us of Israel to go against Rome and their policies. Go ahead.
And expel it from the Holy Land by force of arms.
Yeah, and what happened? We took up arms at that time. At that time, we was taking up arms to expel ancient Rome out of the land. Go ahead.
Most notably during the First Jewish-Roman War, 66 to 70. Zealotry was the term used by Josephus for a fourth sect or fourth Jewish philosophy during this period.
Right. Go to the etymology.
Etymology. The term zealot, the common translation of the Hebrew kanai, frequently used in plural form, means one who is zealous on behalf of God.
Read.
The term derives from Greek zelotes, emulator, zealous admirer, or follower.
Right. Hey, hold that. Give me the Apostle Simon. Apostle Simon. In Matthew. Simon Zelotes. You know what I want, right? Simon Zelotes. Can somebody look it up? Luke 6:15. Give me Luke 6:15. Simon Zelotes.
The book of Luke, chapter 6 and verse 15. Matthew and Thomas, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon called Zelotes.
So why was he called Zelotes? He's one of the 12. But why was he called Zelotes? Go back to the etymology real quick.
The term derives, you want me to just start from the Greek or the whole thing?
Etymology.
Yes, sir. The term zealot, the common translation of the Hebrew kanai, frequently used in plural form, means one who is zealous on behalf of God. The term derives from Greek zelotes, emulator, zealous admirer, or follower.
So it was said, go down. So it was said that Simon Zelotes, one of the 12, before he started following Christ, he was a zealot. He was a zealot. All right? That word, yeah, read that. Here you go.
Simon the Zealot was...
Start at others have. Why you skip that?
Others have also argued that the group was not so clearly marked out before the First War of 66-70, as some have thought. Simon the Zealot was listed among the apostles selected by Jesus in the Gospel of Luke and in the Acts of the Apostles. He is called Canaanian in Mark and Matthew. Matthew chapter 10, verse 4, Mark chapter 3, verse 18.
Right. Go up. Did we miss something? Go up. Yeah, according to the Jewish Encyclopedia article, read this right here.
According to the Jewish Encyclopedia article on Zealots, Judah of Golanitis is regarded as the founder of the Zealots.
So that's Judas of Galilee. Judas of Galilee. Go ahead.
Who are
so he's the founder of the Zealots, and we're gonna get into that. All right. So what we're gonna do is get the origin of the Zealots and how they played, what part they played in the leading up to 70 A.D. Go ahead.
Who are identified as the proponents of the fourth philosophy.
And we went over this. I think we went over this a couple episodes ago, anyway. But we're just gonna go into a little deeper. Go ahead.
In the original sources, however, no such identification is anywhere clearly made. And the question is hardly raised of the relationship between the Sakari, the upholders of the fourth philosophy, and the Zealots. Josephus himself, in his general survey of the various groups of freedom fighters, War 268-70, enumerates the Sakari first, whereas he mentions the Zealots last.
All right, go down. Let me see if I want anything else. You can read, the Zealots had the leading role.
The Zealots had the leading role in the First Jewish-Roman War, 66-73 CE. The Zealots objected to Roman rule and violently sought to eradicate it by generally targeting Romans and Greeks. Another group, likely related, were the Sakari, who raided Jewish habitations and killed Jews they considered apostate and collaborators.
Right, we're going to get into Sakari too. Go ahead.
While also urging Jews to fight Romans and other Jews for the cause. Josephus paints a very bleak picture of their activities as they instituted what he characterized as a murderous reign of terror prior to the Jewish temple's destruction.
Hey, so as we get into this history, you're going to see it's like Chirac Hall in Jerusalem. All right? It's a gang war. It's like Bloods and Crips and gangster disciples. It's a whole war of us just fighting each other before 70 A.D. Okay, so we're going to get into all of that. How you will see when we relate it up to today, how things was happening back then. Same thing today. All right. So from there, give me the page War of the Jews real quick. War of the Jews. Hey, get me Luke. No, give me Acts chapter 5. And you can start at verse 35. No, start at verse 34. Just hold it. Yes, sir. Blow it up. All right, so this is the book, War of the Jews. Okay. This book from the early 1900s also. I think 1920, 1930, somewhere around there. All right. Go ahead. Blow it up.
The Great Zealot War. The new Roman Emperor Caligula, 37-41, appointed his friend Agrippa as the new Judean king. His father was Aristobulus, a prince assassinated by Herod, and his grandmother was the Hasmonean princess Marianne.
So remember, Caligula was the fourth. He was the fourth feather. All right, go ahead.
His Herodian Hasmonean blood and his friendship with Caligula was no help when the mad Roman insisted that Jews, like the Greeks of the realm, worship him and his likeness.
Read.
The Jewish refusal to worship the imperial cult brought on anti-Jewish riots in Alexandria, while in Yavne, an altar to the emperor.
Hey, do me a favor. Look up the imperial cult. Look up the imperial cult real quick. Cause we read that a lot, the imperial cult. And as we get into this history more and more, you will see that we was getting put to death for not worshiping the imperial cult. All right. So as Rome and the emperors, as they were interrogating us, they was bringing us in, trying to make us informants and so forth. They would have us try to turn away from our faith, all right, or following Christ, all right, and to worship the imperial cult. Read that.
The Roman imperial cult identified emperors and some members of their families with the divinely sanctioned authorities of the Roman state.
So they were pretty much trying to call themselves the God Kings. All right. So they were lifting themselves up as a deity. Go ahead.
Its framework was based on Roman and Greek precedents and was formulated during the early principate of Augustus. It was rapidly established throughout the empire and its provinces, with marked local variations in its reception and expression.
So as we get into this history, you're going to see that we didn't want to worship the imperial cult, which was Caesar. That's the imperial cult. All right. Same. Hey, back then it was, do you want to worship Christ or you want to worship Caesar? So they was they was torturing us, trying to force us to worship Caesar. All right. Just like, hey, they're going to do the same. Either you going to worship Christ or Caesar both. That's what was happening. So Caesar was a Caesar bow at that time. Go ahead. Go back. Let me see if there's any more on that. Go down. Yeah, a deceased emperor. Read that.
A deceased emperor held worthy of the honor could be voted a state divinity.
Go down. Go back up. All right. Augustus' reforms transformed. Read that.
Augustus's reforms transformed Rome's republican system of government to a de facto monarchy, couched in traditional Roman practices and republican values. The princeps emperor was expected to balance the interests of the Roman military, senate, and people, and to maintain peace, security, and prosperity throughout an ethnically diverse empire.
Read.
The official offer to cultists
The official offer
of cultists to a living emperor acknowledged his office and rule as divinely approved and constitutional.
You see that? So the official offer of cultists to a living emperor acknowledged his office and rule as a divinely approved and constitutional. Read.
His principate should therefore demonstrate pious respect for traditional republican deities and mores.
Read on.
A deceased emperor held worthy of the honor could be voted a state divinity, divus, by the Senate and elevated as such in an act of apotheosis.
So the Senate will lift them up as a deity. They will have a vote to lift the emperor up as a deity, as a god. Read.
The granting of apotheosis served religious, political, and moral judgment on imperial rulers and allowed living emperors to associate themselves with a well-regarded lineage of imperial divi from which unpopular or unworthy predecessors...
Go down. Go to imperial cult. Let me see. Read that.
The imperial cult was inseparable from that of Rome's official deities, whose cult was essential to Rome's survival and whose neglect was therefore treasonous.
You see that? Read that part again.
The imperial cult was inseparable from that of Rome's official deities.
So Rome had a lot of deities, but the imperial cult was separate from that. Go ahead.
Whose cult was essential to Rome's survival and whose neglect was therefore treasonous.
So that now you see why we was being put up on charges of treason, because we was preaching that Christ was the king, that Christ was our king, but that went against their laws as far as the imperial cult. So that's why that's why they said it was treason against Rome. All right, because we didn't want to worship their imperial cult. We didn't want to worship their gods. Go ahead.
Traditional cult was a focus of imperial revivalist legislation under Decius and Diocletian.
All right, that's it. You go down and see if anything else. Read that real quick. Roman background.
For 5 centuries, the Roman Republic did not give worship to any historic figure or any living man, although surrounded by divine and semi-divine monarchies. Rome's legendary kings have been its masters. With their removal, Republican Romans could identify Romulus, the founder of the city, with the god Quirinus, and still retain Republican liberty.
Right, go down. All right, that's all I want on that. All right, so now go back to where we was at, the page.
Can we read a script real quick?
Yes, yes, sir.
John 19 and 12, down to 15. To prove what we were just reading about the imperial cult. Because that was a charge Christ was charged with. Remember when he was killed, it said king of the Jews. So it was a treasonous act to even proclaim yourself to be a king. Read.
The book of John, chapter 19 and verse 12. And from thenceforth Pilate sought to release him. But the Jews cried out, saying, If thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Whosoever maketh himself a king speaketh against Caesar.
You see, you're speaking against the imperial cult
Yep.
if you say you're a king. Because that's what we were proclaiming, that Christ is king. Read.
When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Jesus forth, and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the pavement, but in the Hebrew, Gabbatha. And it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour. And he saith unto the Jews, Behold your king. But they cried out, Away with him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, We have no king but Caesar.
You see, they were adhering to the imperial cult, and they were using that law in order to crucify Christ and to kill Christ.
Right.
Like, yo, he's not our king. Our only king is Caesar.
What's happening? Well,
I'm so confused.
He hit his friend up like, oh, that was me.
wrong timing.
Yeah, wrong timing.
But
yeah,
go
so
ahead.
that was what they were using to get Christ crucified and killed. And then, obviously, if it's happening to Christ, it's going to happen to us. They're going to use the same thing as we've been reading throughout the weeks. That's what was happening to us. We were going against the imperial cult. They were getting us on treason. Whether we were innocent or not, it didn't matter.
Hey, we going against the imperial cult today.
Yes.
Right.
All right, which is Caesar Bo. That's the imperial cult today. Okay? And Christianity. All right, so those was it Muhammad with Islam. Okay, give me Deuteronomy 28:64 real quick.
Freaking read it. It said if you anybody says anyone but Caesar is king, you're going against them.
Yeah, you going against it.
Just the fact that we're saying Christ is black, we have a black Messiah according to the scriptures. You're going against.
You automatically going
Yep.
against the imperial cult.
Yep.
Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Those other gods are the imperial cults of today. Read.
Even wood and stone.
Christianity, Caesar Bo. All right, and then you got Islam with the Kaaba stone and Muhammad. Okay, so those are today. These will be your imperial cults that we're standing up against right now. All right, so go back to the page.
That soundbite threw me off.
Yeah, I got to get rid of that one. Read it. We start from the top again.
The new Roman Emperor Caligula, 37 to 41, appointed his friend Agrippa as the new Judean king. His father was Aristobulus, a prince assassinated by Herod, and his grandmother was the Hasmonean princess Marianne. His Herodian Hasmonean blood and his friendship with Caligula was no help when the mad Roman insisted that Jews, like the Greeks of the realm, worship him and his likeness. The Jewish refusal to worship the imperial cult brought on anti-Jewish riots in Alexandria, while in Yavne, an altar to the emperor was torn down.
Now, hold on. So read the part again where it says his father was Aristobulus. Read that again.
His
Go
father
ahead.
was Aristobulus, a prince assassinated by Herod.
Uh-huh.
and his grandmother was the Hasmonean princess Marianne. His Herodian Hasmonean blood and his friendship with Caligula was no help when the mad Roman insisted.
So hold on. It says his Herodian, Hasmonean blood and his friendship with Caligula was no help when the mad Roman insisted that Jews, read on,
like the Greeks of the realm, worship him and his likeness.
You see that? Why? Because that's what Caligula lifted himself up as an imperial cult, as a god. All right? So that's what was happening at that time. Okay, now, the thing is, this is what? This is ancient Rome. This is the Roman Empire. Remember with Daniel. Same thing happened with Daniel. Give me that with Daniel, I think it's Daniel 3. We were always put in a situation where we had to choose. They always put us in a situation where they want us to choose between our God and their gods. And this happened in every captivity.
Right. The book of Daniel, let me start verse 3:16.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The book of Daniel, chapter 3 and verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter.
Where you at?
Verse 16.
All right, go ahead.
If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us
Start
from
up ahead of that.
Start verse 12.
Yeah, go ahead.
There are certain Jews whom thou hast
Start
set...
at verse 1 so we know what's going on.
Yes, sir. Verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold, whose height was 80 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dora, in the province of Babylon.
Read.
Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes and the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
Go ahead.
Then the princes, the governors, and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together into the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
So Nebuchadnezzar has set up an image for everybody to worship in the province. Go ahead.
And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages,
Read.
that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet.
Hey, put that up. You can put that up. Whatever y'all put it up. Go ahead.
That at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all the kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
Right. So now this is the furnace of adversity right here. Go ahead.
They do the same thing now with the national anthem.
Yep. Same thing's going on right now.
Instead of worshiping the idol that Nebuchadnezzar created, what they do, they say put your hand over your heart, and as soon as the flag raised up, then they start playing the music and start singing and everything else.
Bro, in school, remember the Pledge of Allegiance. You had to stop everything, man. You stopped everything at the drop of a dime to worship the flag.
When we have our little booths and events, especially when we go to Delaware to have our booth events, and they start off the festival with the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody's standing up with their hand over their heart.
Right.
And we're in our booth, we're talking, we're chilling, and people look at us with
Offended.
the craziest eyes, like, yo, like, they tell us to shut up, quiet, and I'm like, I'm not.
People
standing
crazy.
up.
Yeah.
They want to kill you.
Yeah,
just
they wanna
because
kill
you're not
you.
standing up and
Yeah.
you're not quiet.
Hey, also, I remember being in high school, because I found this out in high school. I used to sit down during the national anthem. And my teachers would call me out to class and have a whole sit down. Like, hey, is there a reason you're not standing up? You know, people in the classrooms are worried about you.
Like there's something going on with you here. Yo, it's crazy. Read on.
Verse 7. Therefore, at the time when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
Jump down to 12.
Verse 12. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the provinces of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee.
They don't give a damn about you, King. They don't give a damn about you. You know, hey, he ain't just said it like they, the Bible's abbreviated, but just imagine how he went to the king. He had to butter that thing up, man. So the king kill us, right? Go ahead.
These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy God.
Listen, man, you set the image up. These dudes right here, they don't care nothing about this God. They don't give a damn. Go ahead.
Nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
Read on.
Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego?
The king like, yo, so what I'm hearing, is that really what's going on? Go ahead.
Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all the kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made, well. But if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
Damn, go ahead.
And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands?
Read.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this manner.
Yo, you gotta understand. yo, King, man, chill out, man. First off, we not even gonna be careful how we answer you. The answer we give is what we mean. It is what it is.
We're gonna keep it real.
We're gonna keep it real with you right now.
They probably looked at each other like, it's about to go down.
Yeah, like, yo, look. Right. When Daniel said, look, man, it is what it is, they like, damn, yo, it's about to happen. It's about to happen. Go ahead.
Verse 17. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. And he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not,
go ahead.
Be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
So whether the Lord deliver us or not, I'm not bowing down to your king, to your image.
Right.
It's not happening. All right. So go back to the page.
Some good history right there.
So we gotta put on that spirit of our forefathers, man. We gotta roll like our forefathers, man. We gotta get built up the way they move. We gotta aspire to move just like them.
Right.
Go ahead.
The new Roman Emperor Caligula, 37 to 41, appointed his friend Agrippa as the new Judean king. His father was Aristobulus, a prince assassinated by Herod, and his grandmother was the Hasmonean princess Marianne. His Herodian, Hasmonean blood and his friendship with Caligula was no help when the mad Roman insisted that Jews, like the Greeks of the realm, worship him and his likeness.
So the same thing that happened in Babylon, same thing that happened in Persia, same thing happened in Greek, the same thing happened in Rome, same thing today. All right. So we was always being persecuted for not bowing down to their imperial cults, their gods. All right, go ahead.
The Jewish refusal to worship the imperial cult brought on anti-Jewish riots in Alexandria.
You see that? So us refusing to worship their imperial cult brought on what?
Anti-Jewish riots in Alexandria.
Alexandria is in Egypt. So we was rioting over there in Egypt. Go ahead.
While in Yavne, an altar to the emperor was torn down.
So he even tore down the altar that was dedicated to one of the emperors. Go ahead.
Judas the Galilean had been executed by Herod, but his cry of, "We have no master but God," still rang in the ears of the aroused populace.
Now, I want to focus on Judas the Galilean. Now, give me Acts real quick. The book of Acts, chapter 5, you can start at 34. Who was Judas the Galilean? Remember, we starting to lead up to the different factions, the different gangs, the different sects that rose up leading up to the events of 70 AD. That started the events that led up to 70 AD. Read that.
The book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 34.
Hey, yeah, go ahead.
Then stood there up one in the council.
1 second, before you read that. Hey, let me see what other page. Go back to War of the Jews. Go to the next page. Blow it up. Let me see. Blow it up. All right. Yep. Leave that there. Go ahead. Read.
The book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 34.
Read.
Then stood there up one in the council, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, a doctor of the law, had in reputation among all the people, and commanded to put the apostles forth a little space.
Read.
And said unto them, Ye men of Israel, take heed to yourselves what ye intend to do as touching these men.
Right. So now he's saying Gamaliel was one of the doctors of the law. At that time, he was considered a good teacher of the law. All right, go ahead.
For before these days rose up Thetis, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain, and all, as many as obeyed him, were scattered and brought to naught.
So now he's going into various men that rose up claiming to be somebody, and it broke apart. All right, whatever cult or group they try to lead, it broke apart. Because why? God wasn't dealing with them. But they showed themselves to be a Messiah, so to speak. Go ahead.
After this man rose up Judas of Galilee.
Read.
In the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after him.
So this is the Judas of Galilee right here we're reading about. Go ahead.
He also perished, and all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed.
So even him, his group broke apart. So you got Theodos and you have Judas of Galilee. Now, Judas of Galilee is who we want to focus on because why? He was the originator of the Zealots. Okay? The Zealots spawned from him. All right? Now, the tax that he was talking about, go to Luke chapter 3. Luke chapter 3. The time of the taxation. The census, yep.
Luke chapter 3. Oh, wrong chapter.
You can
Verse
start at,
1.
verse
Yes, sir.
2 and 1. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes. The book of Luke, chapter 2 and verse 1. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. And all went to be taxed, every one into his own city.
So everybody went to be taxed. Everybody in their own city. This was throughout the whole province of Rome. Read.
And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David.
Now, at the same time that Joseph went to go be taxed, you got Judas of Galilee rising up saying, nah, he said, nah, he building a army, a revolt against the taxation that was happening right here. So you see Joseph said, nah, I ain't getting involved in that. Joseph went and got taxed. Joseph obeyed the law of the land. But Judas of Galilee said, nah, we shouldn't get taxed. So he revolted against it, all right? Now, give me the page.
Hey, officer, what we read in Acts 4 is basically like Gamaliel going over black history like we do today. We talk about Malcolm X. We talk about Marcus Garvey, how all those things came to naught eventually because it wasn't of the Lord.
The Black Panther movement, all that. I'm gonna bring that up. The black nationalists, how things, remember, this history parallel with each other. Ancient Rome and America parallels with each other because America is the extension of ancient Rome. So the same, remember, history repeats itself. Same things happen all over. Same spirits come back, do the same thing. Go ahead.
Judea's renaissance came to a crashing halt with Agrippa's sudden death in 41 CE.
Read.
The Judean dynasty was cut by Claudius, who annexed Palestine outright and placed her under the misrule of procreators,
Governors.
who answered to the governor in Damascus.
Read.
The anti-Jewish procurators tampered with the high priesthood, beheaded religious troublemakers like the false prophet Theodos. Right. And crucified potential rebel leaders like the sons of Judas the Galilean.
Hey, do you have the page with that goes in depth with Theodos? how he tried to blow down his whole purpose was to show the people that he was the Messiah. That's what he
to blow down the wall.
Yeah. Do you have that page?
I'll look for it.
All right, keep reading. We gonna get more in depth with theaters. Go ahead.
Other incidents that aroused the populace included overzealous use of force and quieting an angry Passover crowd of worshipers at the temple and siding with the not very good Samaritans who had murdered innocent pilgrims. The British mandate.
Whoa. Read that again. Other incidents. I missed something. Go ahead.
Other incidents that aroused the populace included overzealous use of force and quieting an angry Passover crowd of worshipers.
Because at this time, it was the time of the Passover. And we crowded Jerusalem at that time. Crowded. Go ahead.
At the temple and siding with the not very good Samaritans who had murdered innocent pilgrims.
So Northern Kingdom was murdering Southern Kingdom. It was a war going on. Yep. Go ahead.
The British mandate of Palestine would have continued on indefinitely had the British not likewise sided with those who massacred Jews at will.
Read on.
Sensing trouble, Claudius gave the late king's son, Agrippa II, control of the Temple Mount and the high priesthood. The newest procurator, Felix, was also guilty of fanning the hatred of the growing Zealot camp with harsh reactions to discontent. The Zealots stepped up the resistance by assassinating Roman sympathizers. Among them, the corrupt high priest Jonathan.
So the Zealots, they were killing and assassinating those that sympathized with Rome. Okay, whoever was supporters of Rome or the Herodians, the Zealots, they wasn't having that. They was murdering them. Go ahead.
The patriotic terrorists, akin to the Stern Gang in Palestine of the 1940s, would strike imperialist foes with concealed daggers and then melt into the alleyways of Jerusalem. Their leaders were Menachem and Eleazar ben Yair, the grandson and nephew of Zealot leader Judas the Galilean.
You see that? So Judas the Galilean, he started the Zealots. All right, that's where and possibly Simon Zelotes was a part of the Zealots. All right, of Judas the Galilean. All right, who did not want to conform to paying taxes.
There's a page I think I had given it to y'all about. I got the page. It's 240 and 241
about theaters.
The blowing down the wall.
Yeah. Get that real quick. Bring that up.
The history of the Jews.
Yep.
There's another. It tells you about how there were some people from Galilee trying to go to Jerusalem for a feast, and they had to walk through Samaria. They got into a fight with the Samaritans and got killed.
Right.
So then the Zealots, the Sakari, went into Samaria and started murking a whole bunch of Samaritans,
getting revenge.
Yep. It's gang wars.
Gang wars.
Yep.
As we get into this history, you'll see it was a gang war. You'll see the same Bloods and Crips all over. It's happening. It was happening here likewise today. It was a bunch of niggas is going running rampant. Wow.
We start at besides the
and hated order
of anarchy at the bottom. The second
Go down.
paragraph. Yeah, besides the spirit of anarchy.
Read that.
Besides the spirit of anarchy, there was another source of discord and misery. As the existing situation became more and more sad and hopeless, the longing in the hearts of faithful believers for the expected deliverer who was to bring peace to Judea became more and more intense. Messianic hopes were rifer among the people now than they had been even during the time of the first Roman governors.
Read.
And these hopes stirred up enthusiasts who proclaimed themselves to be prophets and messiahs.
Hey, as we read this, go back to Acts chapter 5. Go back to Acts chapter 5. Go ahead, read on.
And who inspired belief and obtained followers. Freedom from the yoke.
So, read that from the Messianic hopes again.
Messianic hopes were rifer among the people now than they had been even during the time of the first Roman governors. And these hopes stirred up enthusiasts.
So these hopes stirred up enthusiasts. Go ahead.
Who proclaimed themselves to be prophets and messiahs.
Notice, they proclaimed themselves. No, the Lord didn't set them up. They proclaimed themselves to be prophets and messiahs. Read.
And who inspired belief and obtained followers.
They wasn't following Christ when he was on the earth.
You know what's crazy? It says the Messianic hope because the people had hope in the Messiah because we were being oppressed. So these people they were opportunists. They saw that the people wanted a Messiah, so like, you know what? Let me take that mantle and be the HNIC.
Right.
Let me take that mantle. Yes, son?
Now I was gonna say that's exactly why Rome is the same thing in America. Why J. Edgar Hoover is like, we had to stop the rise of a black Messiah.
Yep.
Because all these people were rising up because of oppression during that time. Same thing.
Yeah, looking for hope.
Yep.
We're looking for hope. Remember, the scripture says that we the prisoners of hope.
So by J. Edgar Hoover saying we have to stop the rise of a black Messiah, they know that they're oppressing us.
Yeah.
Because they know if they let that Messiah rise, that they're going to be done for.
So guess what? If you're going to follow whoever is trying to, our people, they end up, you're looking for somebody to follow that's about rising up their people.
Right.
You understand? So that's, our people at this time, same thing. But these was Negroes right here.
False prophets.
False prophets.
Antichrist.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 9 and verse 12. Turn ye to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee.
Right. So turn you to the stronghold. We are the prisoners of hope, man. Hey, America is a prison household. That's what America is. It's a prison. We're here to serve captivity. We're here to serve a sentence for breaking God's laws. All right. So we're the prisoners of hope. Read on.
Freedom from the yoke of Rome.
Hey, so we're not here to be celebrating Thanksgiving. What we giving thanks for? We're not here to be celebrating Christmas. We're not here to have fun and have a good time. We are here to get ourselves together. Matter of fact, give me 1 Kings, scriptures coming. 1 Kings 8. This is what we're here for.
It's crazy because as things got worse for us back then, you had different leaders supposedly rising up and claiming to be the ones that is going to save them from their oppression. The same thing's happening today.
Same thing happening.
Different religions as far as Christianity and the different denominations. You have different camps coming up out of nowhere.
Yep.
It's happening all over the place. So as things get worse, more of these things are going to keep occurring.
1 Kings 8:46.
Yes, sir. Book of 1 Kings, chapter 8, verse 46. If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not, and thou be angry with them, and deliver them to the enemy, so that they carry them away captives unto the land of the enemy, far or near.
Read.
Yet, if they shall bethink themselves in the land.
This is our purpose here in America, serving our captivity. We supposed to be here trying to bethink ourselves. Okay? We supposed to be remembering who we are. What happened to us? What did we do? Why are we in this situation? Why are we in these conditions? Read.
If they shall bethink themselves in the land, whether they were carried captives, and repent.
And do what?
And repent.
So as we are bethinking ourselves, as we coming back to the understanding that we are the Israelites according to the Bible, we have to repent. It's not just knowing that we the Israelites. It's not just knowing you from the tribe of Judah. No, God requires us to keep his laws. That's why we here. Read.
And repent, and make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carry them captives, saying, we have sinned and have done perversely. We have committed wickedness.
So that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be here saying, look, we've sinned, we committed wickedness. All right? We're not here to have a good time. We're not here to have no fun. You understand? That's not what we're here to do, man. We're here to repent, get ourselves together so we get the kingdom of heaven, so we get up out of our captivity.
Right.
But our people got things misconstrued, thinking, oh, Thanksgiving for us, Christmas is for us, New Year's is for us. Nah, these holidays are not for us. The Bible says, the Lord says for us to separate from the unclean thing and touch not the unclean thing. All right?
Hey, also, this is exactly what Daniel did. When you read Daniel chapter 9, he searched the scriptures, found out he's going to be there for 70 years, and he repented everything we read in 1 Kings 8. He did everything listed there.
Right. He separated from the unclean thing because he said, I don't want to take part in the king's meat.
Yes, exactly.
You know? So we're supposed to be likewise doing the same thing. All right, go back. Read on. As the existing.
As the existing.
No, start from the messianic hopes.
Messianic hopes were rifer among the people now than they had ever been during the time of the first Roman governors.
Wait, man, you adding on words. Messianic, read it again.
Messianic hopes were rifer among the people now than they had been even during the time of the first Roman governors.
Read on.
And these hopes stirred up enthusiasts who proclaimed themselves to be prophets and messiahs, and who inspired belief and obtained followers.
So they inspired beliefs and obtained followers. So obviously they knew how to talk. They was good orators. They was able to gain a following. Go ahead.
Freedom from the yoke.
And this is after Christ. Read.
Freedom from the yoke of Rome.
And hold on, mind you, we still pushing the gospel at this time. So these are those that didn't want nothing to do with the gospel. They didn't want to hear nothing about Christ. They chose to follow some false prophets. Go ahead.
Freedom from the yoke of Rome was the one great aim of all these enthusiasts.
So freedom from the yoke of Rome was what?
Was the one great aim of all these enthusiasts.
That's all they wanted. They wanted freedom from the yoke of Rome.
That's Luke 168 down.
Right.
They knew the Messiah was going to come and save us from our enemies. So they took up that same mission, but it wasn't the right one.
But this time wasn't the time.
No, it wasn't.
But
They're going about it the wrong way.
Right. So these enthusiasts, like, look, I'm gonna act like it's the time.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna gain some followers. I'm gonna let them know this is the time.
And Christ warned us about that in Matthew 24.
Yep.
For many shall say, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
You understand? Hey, give me Job, where with the Lord is the deceive and the deceiver.
And those that aren't studying, they're gonna get fooled. Those that aren't reading, those that aren't applying, those are the ones that are getting fooled into these false movements.
Yep.
The book of Job, chapter 12 and verse 16.
Hey, I'm sorry, man. One enthusiast today is, what's his name? Billy Carson. Yeah. That's an enthusiast right there. No, nothing in his hand, no Bible, no book. Okay, he's just talking. But he got a lot of followers.
Yep.
You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 16. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his.
Hey, I'm sorry. See, back then, there was no social media back then. So you had to actually go out and follow, these are men that was actually on the streets acting like they were the Messiah.
Yep.
False prophets. Today, all you got to do is click, set your account up, hit start live, and start talking some nonsense on TikTok.
Get a $15 webcam.
Yeah, get a $15 webcam, sit in the, you know what I mean, and chill and just talk some nonsense with no proof.
With an incandescent bulb.
Right,
The
go
whole
ahead.
setup is like $5.
Right. Read on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That was it.
Oh, read it again?
Yes, sir. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his.
Right. So with the Lord is the deceived and the deceiver. It's the Lord doing that thing. If he wants you to be deceived, look, it is what it is. So he has the deceiver set up to deceive you.
Let's get 2 Thessalonians as far as the
Yep.
deceived. These are the ones that are being deceived. 2 and 10. You can start at. You can start at 9 here.
Okay. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
So those that are being deceived are those that don't receive the love of the truth. Keep reading.
And for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
They were already believing a lie. So the Most High is like, all right, you want to believe that? Because you don't want to believe my truth? Here you go. I'm going to give you away to
your
Satan.
ruin.
Yep. Keep reading.
That they all might be damned who believe not the
You
truth,
see, who believed, because they already didn't believe the truth. So they're fooling themselves, read.
but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
They had pleasure in their sins and their lasciviousness and their hatred towards one another.
Right.
And their covetousness, which is the same thing today.
Right. So, hey, we reading about that right now. Being being deceived. We're going to read on. You start the Messianic again.
Messianic hopes were rifer among the people now than they had been even during the time of the first Roman governors. And these hopes stirred up enthusiasts who proclaimed themselves to be prophets and messiahs, and who inspired belief and obtained followers. Freedom from the yoke of Rome was the one great aim of all these enthusiasts.
Read.
What the disciples of Judas attempted to bring about by force of arms, the disciples of Theudas hoped to accomplish without fighting.
So you got Judas, you got one sect. This is Judas, the Zealots, the originator of the Zealots. He wanted to bring about with force of arms, weapons, right? Go ahead.
Having recourse only to signs and miracles.
So Theudas, his hope was without fighting and to recourse with signs and miracles. Go ahead.
A Judean from Egypt calling himself a prophet found no less than 3, or according to another account, 4,000 followers.
Read.
These he summoned to the Mount of Olives.
So wait a minute. He summoned nearly 3,000 or 4,000 of his followers to the Mount of Olives.
Shall deceive many.
Shall deceive many. Go ahead.
And there promised to overthrow the walls of Jerusalem with the breath of his mouth.
So you got to imagine. He said, read it again.
These he summoned to the Mount of Olives. And there promised to overthrow the walls of Jerusalem with the breath of his mouth.
So he's up there acting like he's Christ, promising to overthrow the walls of Jerusalem with the breath of his mouth.
He thinking the Little Red Riding Hood.
I don't know what he thought he was. Go ahead, read on.
And to defeat the Roman soldiers.
Read.
He was not the only one who, carried away by the fervor of desire, prophesied the approach of better times. And well may those enthusiasts have found acceptance among the people.
Hey, I want you to notice something. Read it over again from these he summoned.
These he summoned to the Mount of Olives, and there promised to overthrow the walls of Jerusalem with the breath of his mouth, and to defeat the Roman soldiers. He was not the only one who, carried away by the fervor of desire, prophesied the approach of better times.
So his whole plan was to he was not the only one who, carried away by the fervor of desire, prophesied the approach of better times. Remember, Christ said he came to send he didn't come to for peace. He came to send a sword. Yeah. But here you got these enthusiasts rising up. They trying to preach about a better time. There wasn't no better time coming at that time. We about to get martyred.
Right.
We was being martyred. So that's how you should have. So our people at that time, they should have sensed that, yo, this is not the man. You understand? But our people, they were deceived.
That's the same thing that was happening for Jeremiah's time. Remember, he had him walk around with the bands on his hand, and then another prophet came and broke it and said, look, God has broken our chains.
Yeah.
And that's when he said, look, if it's of peace, then we should see peace in the land.
Right. Yep. Same thing. Go ahead.
And
our people, they want to hear good things. They don't want to hear the bad things. You understand? So whoever got the better,
the most
itching ear.
Yes.
Whoever got the best itching ear, that's who our people are going to draw to. So at that time, Theudas had more followers than Judas at that time. Why? Because he talking about war. All this dude talking about, look, I'm just going to show y'all some signs and miracles that I'm the Christ and we're going to get out of here. You understand? So our people tend to draw to, they want to hear that. They don't want to war. I'm not trying to go to war against Rome. You understand? Go ahead.
And well may
hold on. Give me the scripture prophesied. Was it Isaiah 20?
Jeremiah 28, right?
No.
prophesying to me smooth.
Yeah.
30.
This is our people right here. Back then, likewise today.
Oh, yes.
Smooth things.
Yes.
Or something.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 30 and verse 10. Which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things.
So that's what Theudas was doing. He was prophesying smooth things unto the people. That he was the Messiah, that he was going to be able to knock down a wall, and we're going to be good. And we're going to when I knock down that wall, that's going to destroy the Roman soldiers, and we out of here. Go ahead.
Prophesy deceits.
So that's what our people want to hear. They want to hear deceits. Likewise in the church today, our people want to hear. They want to hear something good. Okay, something that's gonna make their ear itch, man. Something they want to listen to.
Shoot, even right now, in the midst of war everywhere, the pastor's still saying prosperity is coming.
Yep.
Can't make that up, man.
Crazy.
Make sure you plant your seed.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't make it up. Right? Go back.
Yeah, you keep reading. Yeah, keep reading it.
And well may those enthusiasts have found acceptance among the people. A nation that had enjoyed so rich a past and looked forward even to a more glorious future might allow itself to be lulled into forgetfulness of the dismal present by pictures of freedom and happiness.
Oh, read that again. A nation.
A nation that had enjoyed so rich a past and looked forward even to a more glorious future.
And we did. We did look forward to a more glorious future. Go ahead.
Might allow itself to be lulled into forgetfulness.
So we allowed ourselves, we were deceived into forgetfulness of what?
Of the dismal present.
Of the dismal present of what was happening, the oppression that was happening. We forgot about that. Read on.
By pictures of freedom and happiness.
Why? Because that's what these enthusiasts was preaching to us. So we want to hear that. Whoever had the best message, let's flock to them. Let's flock to them. That's what was going on. So we forgot. We forgot about the what was happening around us, the murders and so forth. And these enthusiasts rising up with pictures of freedom and happiness. That's all we want to hear. Preach to us smooth things. Go ahead.
These visions and prophecies, harmless enough in themselves, derived a sad importance from the bitter and savage animosity with which they inspired the Roman governors.
Read.
If the people, jealous of any interference with their religion, looked upon the slightest offense to it as an attack upon Judaism itself, and made the governors, the emperor, and the Roman state responsible for the delinquency, the imperial officials in Judea were not less susceptible, for they treated the most trivial agitation among the people as an insult to the majesty of Rome and the emperor, and punished with equal severity the innocent and the guilty.
Right.
So that's saying, like, we at the time, any little thing, we were all walking on eggshells. Whether the Romans did something to us, whether we did something to them, it blew up out of control, and everybody just got it. Everybody got murked, basically.
Hey, at this time was birth and pains too. At this time, before it erupted to 70 AD. All right, so there was contractions before it really popped off. All right, go to the next page. Let me see what else we got.
And we could keep.
Oh, keep reading. Keep reading.
Yeah.
Vain was the favor shown to the Judean nation by the emperors Claudius and Nero. The procurator constantly overstepped the limit of his authority, and urged on by greed and the love of power, acted the part of tyrant.
So this is during Claudius and Nero, Nero is the one we're talking about now, the six feathers. So before Nero, this was happening, and now during Nero, the same thing. The governors of Judea, the Romans, they were, for any little thing, they were very overhanded. They were tyrants, and for any little thing, they would just get everybody, either in jail, killed, or whatever it may be.
Right. Go ahead.
Judea had the misfortune to be almost always governed by depraved creatures who owed their position to the reckless favorites who ruled at court. They rivaled one another in acts of wickedness and cruelty, thus ever increasing the discontent and provoking the wrath of the people. Cumanus, who succeeded Tiberius Alexander about 48 to 52.
Let's go to the next page, 242.
Yep.
It was the governor of Judea who first excited the resentment of the people. Jealous suspicion of any great concourse of people assembled in the temple, a suspicion which, since the revolt at the time of the census, had become traditional among the Roman governors, induced Cumanus at the time of the Passover to place an armed cohort in the colonnade of the temple to watch the throngs which gathered there during that festival.
I wouldn't be surprised if Judas was like one of the starters of those revolts during the census on Passover.
Yeah, he was.
The governor says it was a custom now that when the census came along during Passover, that there was always what was it? This out here.
Read again.
Go up a little bit. It was the governor of Judea who first excited the resentment of the people. Jealous suspicion of any great concourse of people assembled in the temple, a suspicion which, since the revolt at the time of the census, had become...
That revolt at the time of the census was Judas.
Yep.
Go ahead.
At the time of the census had become traditional among the Roman governors.
So it became now a tradition that the governors were on edge during the census, during the Passover, that, yo, these guys are going to revolt again. What are they going to do? So they were on edge during Passover. They were on edge whenever we got together.
Right.
And they had to collect taxes, right?
Induced Cumanus at the time of the Passover to place an armed cohort in the colonnade of the temple to watch the throngs which gathered there during that festival.
Hey, America do the same thing today. Don't they place like when big events happen?
Yeah, street festivals,
Street
parades,
festivals.
it's like surrounded with cops and
They do the same thing today, just in case something pop off, because they know how we get down. Go ahead.
On that occasion, a soldier, with the recklessness often exhibited by the inferior Roman troops, made an offensive gesture toward the sanctuary, which
Hey, go read it slow. Go ahead.
on that occasion, a
soldier, go ahead.
with the recklessness often exhibited by the inferior Roman troops, made an offensive gesture towards the sanctuary,
So he might have put up a middle finger or something. We don't know what he did. Right? Go ahead.
which the people interpreted as an insult to their temple.
So we took that. What that Roman soldier did, it was a rap for him. We took that as an insult. Go ahead.
Carried away by indignation and anger, they threw stones at the soldiers and abused the governor.
Read.
A tumult ensued, which threatened to become a serious sedition. Cumanus ordered fresh troops to advance and take possession of the fortress of Antonia, and assuming a menacing aspect, alarmed the people assembled round the temple, who now hastened to escape from his reach. In their anxiety to get away, the crowds pressed fearfully through the various places of exit, and it is believed that more than 10 or indeed 20,000 persons were suffocated or trampled to death.
Dang.
it's crazy.
This is what was happening, man. These are events leading up to 70 AD. It was mayhem and chaos in Jerusalem.
And meanwhile, the Zealots and Sakari are killing people left and right.
Right. Go ahead. Let me see if any. Go down. Next page.
Next page, yeah, with another occurrence.
Hey, let's take a break real quick. Let's go to break real quick, and then we'll continue. All right, so we're going to take a break, and we'll be back. You can call us at 267-702-6121, or you can text us at 267-702-6121. All right, we're going to take a break. Shalom.
Man, Jehovah's Witness got
We work with anybody and form coalition with anybody
Today was a day
that
of war,
has revolution
and the
on
Most
their
High got
mind.
the victory.
We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said, with the last words on my lips,
Who's the
I
king?
am
Right. Who's the king?
a revolutionary.
Yes, sir. Stop there, sir. 100 years later, unity. The Negro still is not free. It's only the Lord. And the Father's right. It's right. It's right. It's right. It's right. It's right. We want justice fighting the injustice. This is a revolution of God. This time that we live in, the greatest time on earth, spiritual revolution. That is the only time.
Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 5. A faithful witness will not lie.
Faithful witness will not lie.
But a false witness will utter lies.
But a false witness will utter lies. Don't run so much to that.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And go to the end, going all in. Going all in. Going in, going all in. Going all in. I'm going in, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And go to the end, going all in. Going all in.
Sole purpose for coming out here is to gather the elect of our brothers and sisters scattered in the diaspora.
King Solomon was the son of King David. Jesus Christ comes from that bloodline. That's it. Jesus Christ is not a white man. Jesus Christ is a black man.
Those brokenhearted, read on from what? Read?
To preach deliverance to the captives.
Read on.
And recovering of sight to the blind.
Recovering the sight to the blind, those that have been blinded through religion. Because religion teaches us everything outside of the Bible.
Exploitation en Ecuador, Venezuela, Colombia, Sudamérica, China, Argentina, México, Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, todos donde están las 12 tribus.
Jesus, igual aqui está Deus. A cabeça Deus, a cabeça.
Now we are lost sheep. We have to go back. We should encourage ourselves that we are Israelites.
seen what we just seen. It's hot and the fan is Moses!
We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough. And it is because of our effort toward getting straight to the root that people oftentimes think we are dealing in hate. Brothers and sisters, for generations we've been a people living under the weight of oppression. From the days of Marcus Garvey's call for unity, to Martin Luther King's dream of freedom and equality, to Fred Hampton's unyielding fight for justice. We've been relentlessly pushed down, but we have never been broken. In these trying times, God has sent us a torchbearer to guide our path. Today I introduce to you a beacon of hope, Bishop Nathaniel. With unwavering faith in Christ, he is here to lead the nation of Israel back to our rightful place by teaching us the sacred laws that have been our birthright and our salvation.
Christ was the truest of all revolutionaries, and each one of us have to pattern ourselves in his image.
Under his guidance, we will walk a path illuminated by the word of God, not the false promises of man. In his hands, the legacy of our past fuels a righteous and spiritual future. A future where we stand tall as children of God, as true
Well, there's two words found in the word revolutionary. Revolve, as in change. We're changing the minds of our people. We're revolting against all the lies this system has taught against us. The Bible prophesies about 144,000 true revolutionaries. And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word, His word, His word, His word, His word.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the Dream King. Let's go. Sit down. 12 up. Sit down. You boys get hit. Straight on 10, I live for this shit. Gotta take heat, I pray don't slip. They watch, they plotting, I see through they sin. I told the script, he don't get it slick. He hold his neck, he suffocating. I steady be flexing, they feeling so sick. I feel like the kid, the way I be lit. Dream team when we step on the scene clean. All these haters, they really trying to be weak. I'm thinking, how can it defeat me? If I'm strong on the low and they meet me. Jordan drop fire in BC. If you win on my name is Nimi. I get lit and I ain't gonna regret it. More power is about to get hit.
Don't look at my wrist. Oh, you go blind, you taking a risk. I'm filthy rich. You know that I'm the straight, you pissed. I'm making them sick. I look for the ops, I had on my list. They cannot resist. He's trying to escape, but I give him the biz. He says he's gonna sit on the throne. These dogs ain't getting no bone. They gon' bring me the diamonds and gold. I'm a floss cause I'm in my zone. He says he's gonna sit on the throne. These dogs ain't getting no bone. They gon' bring me the diamonds and gold. I'm a floss cause I'm in my zone.
Yo, man, what's up? Why they keep playing with the team? I don't know, man. They ain't know that we dream team? I guess not. Let's go. Yo, stop playing. Stop let them know. Let's go.
My whip be a horse, no Rory. I'm switching the lanes, no Tory. So hot, just coming safari. I'm ice out, look at the glory. My ops gon' bow before me. Talk shit, then it's gon' be glory. Road dogs pulled up with a big strap. Real killers so cold, ain't sorry. Me and BZ know we go way back. Way in the basement, whipping the playback. Mistakes I done pay for my sins, though. Took L's, now I'm coming for payback. These guys better know I don't play that. All the shit they talk, get traced back. Excalibur, look how I slay that. Like bad boy, take that. For all you haters out there, I know you wanted me to fall, but yo, he ain't got my back. I'm strapped, and I'm strapped down. Let's go.
Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Deacon Isaac here. We are in India, live in India. Sole purpose for coming out here is to gather the elect of our brothers and sisters scattered in the diaspora, also known as the seedy people. Ever since 2003, the Most High in Christ moved the spirit of Bishop Nathaniel, the founder of IUIC, with one sole purpose, and that is to gather the elect of our people, which are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. One motto that we follow in Israel United in Christ is vision, action, and reality. So there's no more time to be fighting over a corner. What you see going on in the States, we have brothers fighting over corners. The Most High said in Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 16, that he shall be a sanctuary to us where he has scattered us. So what's the purpose of us being here? Not only to gather our people, but to leave them a refuge, leave them a place here, a sanctuary that they could come together, gather themselves together in these last days to learn their nationality and to learn who they are. So you brothers and sisters who follow IUIC, continue to donate, continue to support the mission, and help us establish a sanctuary here amongst our people. Shalom.
Hey, shalom. Welcome back from break. You brothers is crazy. Hey, go back to the page. All praise. Go back to the page. Where was he?
Another occurrence. We could start there.
Yeah. All right. Another occurrence.
Another occurrence took a more serious form and led to strife and bloodshed. Some Galileans who were on their way to a festival at Jerusalem passed through Samaria, and whilst in the town of Guinea, on the southeastern end of the plain of Jezreel, they were murdered in a fray with the hostile Samaritans.
You see that? So Northern Kingdom, there was
it's like Cali with the Issachar and Judah.
Right, with Issachar and Judah. Read that again. Read it again.
Another occurrence took a more serious form and led to strife and bloodshed. Some Galileans who were on their way to a festival at Jerusalem.
So some Galileans who were on their way to a festival at Jerusalem.
They're just walking by.
Passed through Samaria. And whilst in the town of Guinea, on the southeastern end of the plain of Jezreel, they were murdered in a fray with the hostile Samaritans.
So, what that make you think of? Why was this still going on? Because remember, there was still a beef between Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. There was still a beef going on. Okay.
The vexing and the...
Right, the vexing. Give me that. Isaiah. There's still a beef going on. Because remember, the beef went all the way back to the split that happened.
Shoot, even before the split, when David came over to Gilead, they was like, yo, how come he don't have his setup here?
Right. And remember when Christ was talking to the Samaritan woman, which was Northern Kingdom, she said, yo, y'all have, the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. You understand? So it was that split that we had. Even we didn't deal with one another. We didn't pass through. You know, just like Bloods and Crips. You didn't go through the territory.
Block, yeah.
Don't come on this block. You know what I'm saying? So that's what was going on. So what happened? We passed through. You had some Southern Kingdom passing through, trying to get to Jerusalem. And you had Northern Kingdom like, yo, what the hell? Y'all know not to come through here.
You on the south side of Jezreel,
you on the south.
You know you at Blood?
Yo, you know you at Blood? You on the south side of Jezreel. So that's what was happening. Okay? Nothing new under the sun. Let's read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11 and verse 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
Right, so that's the prophecy of what's going to happen. All right, but at this time, when we was in our land, leading up to 70 AD, it was still going down. That beef was still there. Okay, read it again. The page, you can drop that.
Another occurrence took a more serious form and led to strife and bloodshed. Some Galileans who were on their way to a festival at Jerusalem passed through Samaria. And whilst in the town of Guinea, on the southeastern end of the plain of Jezreel, they were murdered in a fray with the hostile Samaritans.
Read.
Was this only an accidental mischance? or the result of a burning hatred which existed between the Judeans and
Hey,
the
hold
Samaritans.
on. Just to prove that was Northern Kingdom, let's go to John. John chapter 4. John chapter 4.
Bishop Kanai did a great class on the Samaritans going into John 4. It's very detailed and clear.
Right, all praises, all praises.
Let me start from verse 5.
Yeah. Okay. Let me hold on. Let me get it first. Go ahead.
The book of John, chapter 4 and verse 5. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sakari, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now Jacob's well was there. Jesus therefore, being wearied with his journey, sat thus on the well, and it was about the 6th hour. There cometh a woman of Samaria.
So there cometh a woman of Samaria. Read.
To draw water. Jesus saith unto her, Give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away into the city to buy meat.
Read.
Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Jesus answered and said unto her, If thou knewest the gift of God, and who it is that saith to thee, Give me the drink, thou wouldst have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water.
Understanding. Read.
The woman saith unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou the living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob?
Read that again.
Art thou greater than our father Jacob?
Read it one more time.
Art thou greater than our father Jacob?
Possessive. Art thou greater than our father Jacob? Read.
Which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle. Jesus answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water, springing up into everlasting life. The woman saith unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. Jesus saith unto her, Go, call thy husband, and come hither.
Read.
The woman answered and said,
Jump to verse 19.
Verse 19. The woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet.
Read.
Our fathers worshipped in this mountain.
So now, again, she says, Our fathers worship in this mountain. Read.
And ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship.
So she said, hold on. Our fathers, meaning her and Christ's fathers, worship in the mountain that she was referring to, but she's saying now, you saying we must go to Jerusalem? Read that again.
Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Jesus saith unto her.
That's it. So proving that she was Northern Kingdom. Give me Isaiah 7 and 9. She was Ephraim.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 7 and verse 9. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria.
So the capital of Ephraim is Samaria. Okay, the capital of Ephraim is Samaria. So they were called Samaritans. They were called Samaritans. Even Christ had a parable about the good Samaritan.
Yep.
Okay, that was our brothers, Northern Kingdom. All right. So let's go back to the page.
I mean, she's very clear because she said, "Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us this well?" And when you read verse 5 in chapter 4, it says that Jacob gave Joseph the well. So she's letting you know where she comes from.
Right.
A specific tribe. Yeah.
Our father Jacob.
That gave us this well.
That gave us this well. Go ahead.
Start all the way from the top.
Yeah, was this only in... Yeah, you start another occurrence again.
Another occurrence took a more serious form and led to strife and bloodshed. Some Galileans who were on their way to a festival at Jerusalem passed through Samaria, and whilst in the town of Guinea, on the southeastern end of the plain of Jezreel, they were murdered in a fray with the hostile Samaritans. Was this only an accidental mischance, or the result of the burning hatred which existed between the Judeans and the Samaritans.
You see that? Or was this only an accidental mischance or the result of the burning hatred which existed between the Judeans and the Samaritans? It was the burning hatred that existed. Go ahead.
In either case, the representatives of Galilee were justified in demanding vengeance at the hands of the governor upon the murderers.
Read.
But Cumanus treated the affair with contemptuous indifference and thus obliged the Judeans to deal with the matter themselves.
Oh, man. So he said, yo, y'all deal with the matter yourselves. Go ahead.
The leaders of the Zealots, Eleazar ben Denai and Alexander, incited both by the Galileans and their governor Felix, took the matter into their own hands, entered with their troops the province of Acrobatine, inhabited by Samaritans, and pitilessly destroyed and killed all within their reach.
Damn, go ahead.
The Samaritans appealed to Cumanus for redress for this attack upon their province, and he gave them permission to take up arms, sending...
Listen, he doing this on purpose.
Yeah,
man.
let them kill each other.
Yeah, let them kill each other. Let them kill each other. Yeah, why don't y'all take the matter in your own hands? Okay, so everybody's trying to appeal to the governor like, yo, did you see what just happened? We were just murdered. Our people were just murdered. Everybody trying to go to the governor to get to appeal to him to help to do something about it. He said, nah, how about y'all handle it yourselves? You can't tell Negroes to handle something themselves. You just can't do that.
And the same thing happens today when you have these gang wars or black-on-black crime, and there's no investigation on who killed who. That's basically the governor saying, yo, do what you got to do. Because there's no recourse, there's no repercussions or any kind of discipline for what happened, so they're going to keep doing what they're doing.
They're going to keep doing it.
There's no deterrent. No, you got it.
I was going to say, or even America goes even further with the CIA putting guns in the community. So you might not even have the weapons to do it, but all right, look, we give you everything you need to kill your brother.
Hey, they did the same thing with the war on drugs.
Yeah, yep.
They put the drugs in the community and say, yo, let them destroy themselves.
They let us make the choice, because in actuality, they could have just said, you know what, we're not going to retaliate, we'll leave it be.
Right.
But we decided to go and kill our brothers. Just like today, they put the guns and the drugs in our community.
It's up to us to pick it up.
It's up to us whether we're going to use it to kill ourselves or get it out of the way.
Right. My fault. I was going to say also, it's just like, remember when the Edomite saw David go into the temple, and then everybody came, didn't say nothing, but the Edomite, hey, I know where David's at. And David said, look, I knew he was going to say something as soon as I saw him. He's going to instigate everything.
Right. So that's what was going on. So read that again. That's heavy. Read it again.
The Samaritans appealed to Cumanus for redress for this attack upon their province, and he gave them permission to take up arms, sending at the same time Roman troops to assist them.
So, wait a minute. Go back up to but Cumanus. Cumanus is behind all of this.
Yeah, he's an evil.
Go back up where it says but Cumanus, right there.
But Cumanus treated the affair with contemptuous indifference, and thus obliged the Judeans to deal with the matter themselves.
So, won't y'all go ahead and won't you deal with it yourselves? Go ahead.
The leaders of the Zealots, Eleazar ben Denai.
Oh, yeah? All right, bet. We out. Go ahead.
And Alexander, incited both by the Galileans and their governor, Felix, took the matter into their own hands, entered with their troops the province of Acrobatine, inhabited by Samaritans, and pitilessly destroyed and killed all within their reach.
Now, here we go again.
The Samaritans appealed to Cumanus for redress.
Now, there's Northern Kingdom now. So Southern Kingdom went to him. Yo, why don't y'all deal with that on your own? Now Northern Kingdom got destroyed. Now they go to Cumanus again. Read.
For redress for this attack upon their province. And he gave them permission to take up arms.
Hey, why don't y'all just go to war? Just go to war. Go ahead.
Sending at the same time Roman troops to assist them in a fearful massacre.
So this dude, he put us against each other. That's what he was doing. Go ahead. Next page.
This proof, as they considered it, of the partisanship, thank you, of the emperor's officials roused the anger of the inhabitants of Jerusalem to such a degree that spurred on, among others, by Dortus, a man of some position.
Right. Hey, go down. Let me see. Is there anything else on this page?
We could go. Not this page. Let's go to the next one. 245.
Go to 245.
We got 245 and 246. I say the bottom.
Go down.
The bottom. Yeah, Felix.
Felix, whose appointment had been sought of the emperor by the former high priest Jonathan, succeeded Cumanus as governor of Judea. He married Drusilla, King Agrippa II's beautiful sister, who thereupon went over to paganism. During his long administration, Felix surpassed all his predecessors in arrogance and audacity. He gave himself up entirely to the acquisition of riches and the satisfaction of his appetites. He continued to exercise his evil power even after the death of Claudius, 54. For although the young Emperor Nero or his mother Agrippina was as favorable to the house of Herod as Claudius had been, and had given Agrippa 4 considerable towns with their surrounding districts as well as the important city.
We got the next page, right?
Go ahead.
So it says Felix was worse than Cumanus. It's always like that too. Even with the conquistadors that came here, every single one was worse than the prior, because they learned from their predecessor and they added on to it. That was the last one.
Hey, let's get into the go to. I see you got it under Sakari. Give me the Sakari. Give me the Wikipedia Sakari. So we had the Zealots, but then you got the Sakari at this time. Go ahead.
We got a page on the Sakari on there too. History of the Jews.
The Sakari were a splinter.
Yeah, we get that afterwards.
Yeah.
The Sakari were a splinter group of the Jewish Zealots who, in the decades preceding Jerusalem's destruction in 70 CE, strongly opposed the Roman occupation of Judea.
So the Sakari were a splinter group from the Zealots. Go ahead.
And attempted to expel them and their sympathizers from the area. The Sakari carried Sakei, or small daggers, concealed in their cloaks.
Hey, so those of you, put up a picture of Assassin's Creed. So those of you that seen Assassin's Creed, all right, the daggers that was coming from under their sleeves, they got that from the Sakari. They got it from us during that time. All right. That's who this right here, Assassin's Creed. Actually, one of them Assassin's Creed, it was in Jerusalem. And you see prophets, they had prophets teaching on the corners in Jerusalem. I think it was the first Assassin's Creed or whatever. I never played it personally, but they took this from the Sakari. All right. You can drop that. Go ahead. So they carried daggers under their cloaks.
The Sakari carried Sakei, or small daggers concealed in their cloaks. At public gatherings, they pulled out these daggers to attack Romans and alleged Roman sympathizers alike, blending into the crowd after the deed to escape detection.
Read.
The Sakari are regarded as one of the earliest known organized assassination units of cloak and daggers, predating the Islamic Hashishin and Japanese ninjas by centuries.
So we predated the ninjas and the Islamic Hashishin. Okay?
They took after us.
They took after us.
Former of all things.
They took after us, the Sakari. Go ahead.
The derived Spanish term Sicario is used in contemporary Latin America to describe a hitman.
And they did become hitman. They were paid also sometimes to kill.
That was the next page.
That was the next page. We'll get that. We'll get that. Go ahead.
Etymology. In Latin, Sakari is the plural form of Sicarius, dagger man, dagger wielder, seeker, probably from Proto-Albanian, seeker, from Proto-Indo-European, key to sharpen, possibly via Illyrian.
All right, go down. History, let me see. Go down. Read at the beginning of the first Roman-Jewish War.
At the beginning of the first Roman-Jewish War, the Sakari and possibly Zealot helpers, Josephus differentiated between the two, but did not explain the main differences in depth, gained access to Jerusalem, and committed a series of atrocities in an attempt to incite the population into war against Rome.
So that was their main purpose, to incite the people to go against Rome. Go ahead.
In one account given in the Talmud, they destroyed the city's food supply, using starvation to force the people to fight against the Roman siege instead of negotiating peace. Their leaders, including Menahem ben Yehuda and Eleazar ben Yair, were notable figures in the war, and the group fought in many battles against the Romans as soldiers.
Hey, let me show you something. Give me page 25 of War of the Jews. It said we fought against many battles against the Roman soldiers. Watch this. Page 25, War of the Jews. War of the Jews. Yep, I see it. The fourth one, right there. No, the fourth one, right there. Blow it up. Is that it? Nope, my bad. Go out. You know what I want? I pulled it up last week. It should be in your files. War of the Jews, page 25. Y'all took a picture of it. You scanned it. It's not in there. It's not in there. Let me see. Maybe. Right here. Yep, right there. Blow it up. Read the underline. Matter of fact, you can read. Just read on. Just read courage, armor.
Courage, armor, and tactical formations.
So these are the things that this is all the things that we wore, how we went to war. Go ahead.
Compared to his enemies, the Hebrew soldier was a lightly armored fighter. This was to hold true from the first battles with the Canaanites to the last struggles with Romans and Byzantines. But what he lacked in body armor, he made up by individual courage and ferocity.
Read.
Even the Roman soldier.
So even the Roman soldier. Remember it said, when we read about the Sakari, it said they went up against many battles with the Roman soldiers. Go ahead.
Perhaps the greatest infantryman that has ever existed was often bested by his Judean opponents in hand-to-hand combat.
Read that again.
Even the Roman soldier, perhaps the greatest infantryman that has ever existed, was often bested. Often.
Go ahead.
By his Judean opponents in hand-to-hand combat.
So they couldn't stop us with the hands. When it came to hand-to-hand combat, look, we whipped they behind.
We were reading in the history of the Jews how the Roman soldiers were inferior. So they talking about us. They were inferior to us because they were on edge. Remember when they were around the temple?
Yeah.
And he made what is it? It says here, he made an offensive gesture. It says, on that occasion, a soldier with the recklessness often exhibited by the inferior Roman troops. So they were inferior to us. That's why they were on edge. Like, yo, these guys can murk us.
Yo, hey, the Zealots and the Sakari, they were highly skilled assassins at that time.
And you got to fight, and you got to kill.
Yeah, so they had. I wouldn't be surprised. We probably had them as bodyguards, but we gonna get the other page. But read that again, and then go down to the next
They say,
underline.
yo, and they considered the Roman soldiers the greatest infantrymen to ever exist, and they were scared of us, and they were considered inferior compared to us. Come on.
Hand-to-hand combat. This ain't talk because the Romans, they fought with like they had. It's going to explain. Read on. It's going to explain how they fought, how they best war tactics was. Read that.
Most High said, one shall be stronger than the other.
Right.
That's what it is.
And they know all the history of the Maccabees and Spartans. They like, yo,
the wars, like, yo, we can't give them this information, yo.
Go ahead.
Even the Roman soldier, perhaps the greatest infantryman that has ever existed, was often bested by his Judean opponents in hand-to-hand combat.
Read.
This is not to say that Greek or Roman soldiers lack courage.
So he say, this ain't to say that Greek and Roman soldiers lack courage or anything like that.
They just couldn't do it.
Read. So now he gonna as Benjamin said, he gonna big them up real quick, because now he got to go back and uplift his people. Go ahead.
In their heyday, they were both feared for their bravery and fighting skills.
So the Romans and the Greeks, in their heyday, they were feared for their bravery and fighting skill. Read.
But they were disciplined, trained to fight in formation.
There you go. They were trained to fight in formation. That's why when it came to hand-to-hand combat, we was whipping their ass. You couldn't stop us hand-to-hand combat. They was trained to fight in formation. Go ahead.
The Macedonians and Greeks of the Hellenistic world fought in a phalanx.
Right. That was their style, which was, read on.
The Romans' formation was the turtle.
So their formation was the turtle. So when they approached us, that's how they came in like a formation type. You know what I mean? But once they broke off, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. Read on.
This turtle was an almost invulnerable formation. The soldiers would form a square.
So they would form a square, read.
With those on the outside holding their shields locked together, while those in the center held their shields aloft.
Hey, a good example of that is 300 and Troy. They did it in Troy too. Remember when they hopped off the ship, they all came into like I think that's a phalanx. When they all put their shields together, but they still, you can still see. They can still see and move at the same time. All right? Against any arrows, anything like that that's coming towards them. Go ahead. And then they would break off into hand-to-hand combat with one-on-ones. Go ahead.
When this maneuver was executed, the soldiers of the turtle became practically invulnerable to arrows, spears, or sword thrusts. Like a real turtle, they were encased within a shell, their locked shields, and only their legs were exposed, and these were frequently covered with metal greaves.
Read.
The tactic which the Judean soldier would employ against the turtle was as old as the Battle of Ai, the second battle of the Israelite invasion of Canaan. It consisted of a ruse. A part of the Judean force would place themselves in a seemingly vulnerable position, thus drawing the Romans to break formation and attack.
That's what we wanted. We wanted them to break that formation for hand-to-hand combat.
That's called being a tactician, a strategist.
Yeah, strategist. So once they broke, man, we went to work.
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
Read on.
As soon as the Romans broke out of their turtle formation, the Jews would come charging in on them with a ferocious attack. In close hand-to-hand combat, the Jews counted on their superior physical strength.
So that's go back to what you saying.
One shall be stronger than the other.
One should be stronger than the other. So we counted on our superior physical strength. Read.
Enthusiasm.
Go ahead.
And fanatic dedication to God and homeland, as opposed to the Roman legionnaire who had courage and discipline, but no real ideology to sustain him.
So they were scared as hell once we had them break that formation.
There was no power in the Imperial cult they believed in.
Right. Nah, there wasn't no power in that.
They had no power.
So our God sustained us. All right. So we had the ideology and so forth to, like he said, to sustain us. Go ahead.
Additionally, most Romans were rather short.
So most Romans were rather short. Go ahead.
Though muscular.
Though they were muscular. Read.
While the Judeans of classical times were tall and extremely powerful men.
Damn. Read.
Many indeed were near giants.
Damn.
What are you going to do against that?
Hey, what happened?
What happened, Shatiel?
Oh, man, y'all pointing. Both of them about 5'5", and they pointing fingers. They pointing fingers at each other at best. Oh, man. Hey, read on.
When they could draw the Romans, as they had done with the Greeks, into uneven or hilly ground, or surprise them by a night ambush or sudden unexpected sweep into their camp, they usually won the battle or sortie.
Strategist. Hey, do y'all have History of the Jews, Great Zell, page 141? Real quick. Oh. Hey, yeah, right there. Is that it? Yep. Start at Nope. Start at the Jews of the diaspora.
The Jews of the diaspora.
That's not what I want, but keep reading.
The Jews of the diaspora were by no means all wealthy. Most of them were poor, earning a meager livelihood from manual labor. Jewish beggars were to be seen on the streets of Rome and Alexandria. To earn a living, some Jews resorted to such peculiar occupations as interpreting dreams or telling fortunes. There was a time when the Jews were famed for their fighting qualities.
So this is what I wanted. There was a time when what?
There was a time when the Jews were famed for their fighting qualities.
So there was a time when we were famed for our fighting qualities. qualities. Go ahead.
And were hired as soldiers in various armies.
And they hired us as soldiers in various armies. Meaning what? Bodyguards. Okay. They hired us, our forefather Zerubbabel. During a Syrian captivity, they hired us as bodyguards. Okay. So we were famed for our fighting qualities. Read on.
This was true especially...
So this was true. Go ahead. Especially what?
For several centuries, following the Maccabean Wars, when everyone knew how well the Jews have fought.
So this was true. Everybody knew how well we fought. It become a lost, it's a lost art now, or whatever, but they knew how well we fought. Even up into the Sakari and the Zealots and so forth. All right? So following several centuries after the Maccabean War, everybody knew how well we fought. That's why Rome was scared as hell. Even with Hannibal. They was like, yo, we can't do nothing with this dude. But obviously the Rome was favored to win. We all know that was of the Most High. All right, but hey, what's that? You said you had
from yesterday.
Yeah, the statement you said about Hannibal.
There's another book I have where it says that the way that Hannibal and the Carthaginians fought against Rome and the things they did against Rome, any other nation or any other people would have been wiped off the map and wiped off history. But for some reason, Rome kept pushing and they won. That's what the book said. Like, for some reason, they didn't fall. But we know why, because the Most High had to. Yeah.
That was his sword. Rome was the Most High's sword.
Carthage wasn't fighting against Rome. They were fighting against the Most High, because Rome had to be used for prophecy.
Right.
So that's why the Most High
you couldn't get rid of him.
Yeah, you couldn't get rid of them. But they said, like, yo, I don't know. The author was like, I don't understand why they didn't fall. Because any other people, any other nation would have been destroyed and wiped off the map.
Damn. All right. Hey, from there, now give me the other page, History of the Hebrew Commonwealth. I think, go to History of the Jew. What page you have?
239.
Get 239.
All right, let's go to 246. I sent that on the group first for how they would be hired to do assassinations.
Still dealing with the Sakari, the first assassins.
And then we'll go to 239.
Felix pretended.
I guess, yeah.
Felix pretended to attack only the seditious mutineers. But the fact of his consorting with the wild Sakari showed how little truth there was in that assumption. Numerous indeed must have been the victims who suffered death at his hands, under the plea that they were the enemies of Rome. For even the former high priest, Jonathan, at whose request the emperor had been given Felix his appointment, now bitterly reproached him for his misdeeds. Exasperated by his boldness, the governor caused him to be assassinated, employing the Sakari to seize and murder him in the broad light of day.
So Felix the governor, he hires the Sakari to assassinate the former high priest Jonathan, to show that with the Sakari, they started going off. They started killing their own. They were overzealous.
It was for money now.
Yeah, it was for money. That's what they were doing. We good on that. We can go to 239.
But to show you how skilled they were, even the Felix was like, yo, let's hire them to
They're the ones that can get it done.
So obviously he knew about him. They was ringing bells around in the land. Go ahead.
Another band.
Another band of zealots, grown wild and savage, forgot the original aim of liberating their country and turned their attacks upon the foes of the latter and to profit for themselves.
Read.
They were called Sakari, from the short dagger Sika.
So that name's come from a short dagger called Sika. All right, it's like a curved dagger that they put under their sleeves, and they was able to
retract it.
Retract it in and out, where it could just stab you and you wouldn't even know, because they'll retract back into under your sleeve. Go ahead.
Which they wore concealed under their cloaks, and with which, either openly or insidiously, they struck and killed their enemies. The Sakari belonged to the very refuse of the Zealots. Later they acknowledged the grandsons of Judas of Galilee, Menahem and Eleazar ben Jair, as their leaders. But at the commencement of this epoch, they were under no discipline whatever.
Right, so Judas, remember, these were the leaders of the Zealots. So they broke off from them, and they were disorderly. They were disorderly. Like today, you got these gangs, these young men, this younger generation, they're disorderly, wild. Chirac. Okay? Just wild and going crazy, man.
It says the refuse of the Zealots. The worst of the worst of the Zealots.
The worst of them. Go ahead. No discipline, no order whatsoever. Go ahead.
They wandered about the country without any defined object, lending their assistance to those who either offered them a reward or an opportunity for satisfying their thirst for revenge.
They had a heavy murder spirit on them. Go ahead.
Armed with daggers, they wandered among the various groups that thronged the colonnade of the temple during the festivals, and unperceived struck down those they had marked out of their victims.
Read.
These murders were committed with such extraordinary rapidity and skill that for a long time the assassins remained undiscovered.
Read that again. This is how bad they were.
They just seen bodies drop. They're like,
yeah, they're like, yo, what the hell?
Who killed them? Like,
standing right next to you. Damn. Yo, damn. What happened to the brother? Gone. And it says sometimes they would act like they would act like after they did it,
bystanders.
They were bystanders. They would act like they were bystanders. Like, yo, you know what I mean? They joined in to see what was going on. Go ahead.
These murders were committed with such extraordinary rapidity and skill that for a long time the assassins remained undiscovered. But all the greater were the dread and horror excited by those dark, mysterious deeds.
Read.
Murders became so frequent that Johanan ben Sakari and the teachers of the law found it necessary to abrogate the sin offering for the shedding of innocent blood.
So my man had to go in the temple and offer up sacrifices. Go ahead.
As too many animals would have been slaughtered for the human victims.
Damn. So that's how many animals. It was so many of our people being killed at this time that it would have been too many animals to offer up for sin offerings. Go ahead.
It may have been about this time that the great Sanhedrin, which witnessed with intense grief the constant increase of lawlessness, and immorality, gave up its functions and transferred its place of meeting from the hewn stone hall to the commercial hall and Bethany, an act which seemed to imply its dissolution.
So they couldn't handle the people anymore. So like, yo, we gotta move from here.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here, man. This is getting wild.
Yeah, that's good.
This is getting wild. Same thing going on today. You see these different gangs, gang warfare that's going on. Murders not being solved and so forth.
Lawless zones, you know, you go in there. The cops don't even go in certain areas.
Cops don't even go in certain areas.
They just stay on the perimeter.
Stay on the outside. Hey, you see when we went down to when we was in Chicago, you see the young boys in the gate, like, nah, y'all can't come in. They running that joint. They running that whole perimeter out there. You understand? But guess what? We went down there. All right, we went down there.
That's right. Hey, officer, you mind if I show something concerning what you said about Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you pull up that link I posted in the group? This is on the first Assassin's Creed game. Read the top part, then we're going to jump down.
Assassin's Creed is an action-adventure game developed by Ubisoft Montreal and published by Ubisoft. It is the first installment in the Assassin's Creed series.
All right, so scroll down. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Second paragraph right there.
The gameplay?
Yes, the gameplay.
The gameplay focuses on using Altair's combat, stealth, and parkour abilities to defeat enemies and explore the environment.
Go ahead.
The game features counter-based hack-and-slash combat, social stealth.
Social stealth, exactly what y'all just going into. Where? Read.
The ability to use crowds of people and the environment to hide from enemies.
That's what you were just saying.
So as soon as you boop, you just dip off into the crowd.
Right. Keep reading.
And a large open world comprising various regions of the Holy Land.
Of what?
Of the Holy Land.
Yep.
Why you think the first game started in the Holy Land? Go ahead, read the last part. My fault.
Primarily the cities of Masyaf, Jerusalem, Acre, and Damascus, all of which have been accurately recreated to fit the game's period.
The Sakari. That's who they were portraying Assassin's Creed to be. That was it.
Hey, so they use a lot of games and everything to show our history. You know, so they even got one with Levi.
Yeah, he is the Haitian Revolution.
Yeah, the Haitian Revolution.
Yep.
So they use these games to
It's all based on Israel.
Yeah.
Basically. All those games are based on Israel.
That's it. All right. So from there, hey, give me. I don't know if I gave y'all this page. Probably.
But
Go ahead.
I'm saying, but now, yeah, we're talking about all this, but 2 Corinthians 10. We're learning a war today, but not the same way we were doing it back then. This is what the scriptures say.
2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 4.
Psalms?
Don't start this, bro. Verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God, to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God.
That's how we're warring today. We're not using the Sika. We're not using shields. We're not using swords. Our weapon are these scriptures, this Bible. This is our sword. This is what we're wielding. This is what we're going to destroy. The high things that are in the minds of our people, the lies, the refuse that is in the mind of our people. We're using these words that are in this Bible to pull down those strongholds. Today, we're not using guns, AK-47s, AR-15s, the Glock, whatever it may be. We're not using none of that. All right, read.
And bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ.
Every thought has to come into the obedience of Christ. We can't have no foolish thought thinking that we're going to come up against this white man, against the great Babylon, the great that has been blessed by Satan with nuclear power. What are we going to do against them? We get our weapons from them. But you expect to use those same weapons to destroy them? No, that's not going to happen.
Right. Hey, you was ready also?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, can we get Psalms 44? Psalms 44 and start from verse 4. And just to speak on the mighty men that we read in the scripture who actually used weapons, their trust in the Lord wasn't like the Negroes you see today, where they say, oh, we don't need God, we need weapons, we don't need to listen to that Bible, let's just fight. The people that was actually fighting in the scripture trusted in the Lord regardless, and that was the only way they actually got the victory.
Mm-hmm.
Read verse 4.
Psalm 44, verse 4. Thou art my king, O God. Command deliverances for Jacob.
Go ahead.
Through thee will we push down our enemies.
That's what David said in his wars. Through God, we will push down our enemies. Go ahead.
Through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us.
No, through thy sword.
Through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us.
Verse 6.
For I will not trust in my bow.
I will what?
Not trust in my bow.
David didn't trust in his bow. The mighty men we read about, Maccabees, remember it said that they showed up to the army having no thought of weaponry.
Right, yep.
We will not trust in our bow. Go ahead.
Neither shall my sword save me.
But what shall?
But thou hast saved us from our enemies.
Uh-huh.
And hast put them to shame that hated us.
There's no victory without the Lord. There's no battle that's won by man's strength. Everything comes by the Lord. Whether it's a physical, spiritual battle, everything comes by this book, following the words of God.
Hey, are you putting those pictures up, or are you just...
Right. So everything we read about, all of our forefathers had that same mindset that we read in 2 Corinthians. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Why? Everybody's trust had to be in the Lord to win.
That's can we get another script?
Yep, and then we're going to end it.
Yes, sir. 2 Maccabees 15, verse 26 and 27. To just further push the point that, look, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Even during our carnal battles, our mindset was on what? The Lord.
What was that?
2 Maccabees 15, verse 26 and 27.
2 Maccabees, chapter 15, verse 26. But Judas and his company encountered the enemies with invocation and prayer.
That's what he encountered the enemies with invocation and prayer. He's asking and praying to the Lord, please, Lord, send an angel in front of them to destroy them. Read.
So that fighting with their hands and praying unto God with their hearts, they slew no less than 35,000 men. For through the appearance of God, they were greatly cheered.
You see, through the appearance of God, they were greatly cheered because they encountered their enemies with invocation and prayer. That was the first thing that came to mind. It wasn't, how am I going to, what weapon I'm going to use, what technique I'm going to use. No, it wasn't none of that. It was like, you know what? Lord, put this in your power that we destroy your enemies. That's it.
That's why David said, the Lord teaches my hands to war.
It's not me, it's the Lord.
Right. All praises, all praises. Hey, so we're gonna end it there. Next show, Lord's Will Life Last. Like we said, we leading up to the events. We leading up to 70 AD. So we talking about the events that transpired before 70 AD popped off. All right. So Lord's Will, next week we actually hit 70 AD. All right. So Officer Abaddon.
Hey, Israel, let's give a hand to the leadership for that class, man. All praise the Most High. Very, very much needed. Very, very much needed. Let's get those announcements up. All right, Israel. Y'all know what we always say. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, okay? Sooner or later, we're going to go be live straight off our Hidden History Radio. So, subscribe on YouTube. Hit the notifications button so you know when we go live. You don't want to miss a class. Trust me. You don't want to be that brother that's still catching up from a year ago. All right? Also, subscribe to our Philly pages on YouTube. IUIC Philadelphia and IUIC Philadelphia in the classroom to get the latest content from the captains and officers of IUIC Philly. Donate to our Hidden History on PayPal to iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org. In the comment section, put OHH so we can purchase more books and knowledge to bring out to you. Donate also to the Booster Club. You can donate to the Booster Club on PayPal to iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org to help this gospel be preached to the four corners of the earth so we can go home. Last but not least, subscribe to IUIC TV to get exclusive content from the leadership of IUIC. Tune in next to Raven and Wolves with Deacon Malafia. Damn, we're the wolf, bro.
We got to do it ourselves.
Ow.
Hey, shout out to the IT, I guess.
Nah.
Hey, shout out to IT, and also shout out to the sisters that made the breakfast, man. All praise the Most High. All right. With that, we say shalom.
Shalom.